Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. I'm sure you guys noticed that it is a little bit different in here. I actually did go ahead and make a office type of room. I just felt it's super important to separate your workspace from your sleeping space in your bedroom. You can come in here and do all your work, and at the end of the day, when you're ready to go to bed, you just go to another room, just something separated from everything else, where you can just fully relax and not have to think about anything. And so, with that being said, I felt like I was just getting a little bit burnt out in a sense. It's hard to explain, but I think you guys can kind of get what I'm saying. It was hard having everything being just in my bedroom. I felt like it was just all too conjoined, and I wanted to kind of separate my work life from my just my personal relaxation time. And so yeah, we are gonna get straight into the video though. Today I'm gonna be going over my full stock portfolio. I've been getting paid some dividends. I've been doing some trading. I've been doing some Bitcoin trading, and so I wanted to make sure that I updated you guys on all the whenever I have a lot of changes happening, I want to make sure you guys are fully updated on what all I'm doing. Maybe it helps you make some decisions. Maybe it helps you think of what you don't want to do and anything like that. If you guys do like this video, definitely go ahead and drop a like. It helps me out so much. It helps me reach new audiences, and it absolutely just inspires and motivates me to make new videos like these. If you guys want to continue to give me feedback in the comment section, that'd be amazing. I genuinely love this community. I love how much we all interact with each other, help each other grow, help each other get new ideas, and just inspire each other to be better. And that's just an absolutely amazing thing to see. And if you are new to this channel and this is the first video you've seen from me, or maybe you've seen a couple videos, just haven't done it yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. That absolutely helps me out. It helps me grow my support, and it just helps me grow all around. And yeah, we'll get straight into the video. So first up, we have my M1 Finance account. As most of you guys know, I don't have much on this account, just only one stock. And that's simply because I don't want to sell it at all, simply for the fact that I got such a good deal on it. But if we do come here, you will see that it is my Stag Industrial share, or stock. So with that being said, I haven't changed much about this at all, so I don't want to sit on it too much. But I will go ahead and look. I have 63.84 shares in Stag Industrial. I actually did just get paid out a dividend in it of about $7.75 2 days ago, and so that's super nice to get that little dividend here and there. It's one that I want to hold on to for a long time. Their balance sheet is super strong, and they've honestly held up very well throughout this whole thing. And so with that being said, it does give me a lot of confidence in Stag Industrial that as time pursues and we proceed through life, that things that get thrown at us and hard times that come, that Stag Industrial will be able to really stand through times like that, and they'll be able to prosper and make it out and grow even further than they were before. And so with that being said, it makes me very confident in this stock in the long run, because as you know, I'm a long-term investor, and I'm not talking like 10, 15 years. I'm talking 30, 40 years. I'm only 18 years old. And so that gives me a lot of time to hold on to these stocks and let that compound growth happen. So that is the one and only stock in my M1 Finance account. I'm up $239 in it. And yeah, I've made probably about $25 or so in dividends. I didn't have too much in this stock until about March or so is when I put another $1,300 into it. And so yeah, so we will hop back into my Robinhood account, and this is where the majority of my investing does happen. And I'll go over my options and the stuff I'm doing with trading here, and then I'll go over my my other shares and everything like that. So I'm doing a Bank of America 23.5 covered call, meaning basically that I have 100 shares of Bank of America, and I'm just saying that if it does hit 23.5, that I will be assigned to sell all 100 shares, which wouldn't be the best case scenario. I'd rather just take my premium, which was $32. So basically I got $32 to do this deal. And I'd rather just take my $32 and just keep it pushing. But if worse comes to worse and I have to sell my Bank of America shares, all 100 of them, I will still be at a profit of, I believe, $100, because I bought this at, $22.48. So if I had to sell it at 23.5, that means I make $100, because that's $1 per share, and 100 shares, $100, plus my $30 premium. So it'd be $130 in profit. Yeah, that is more, but I feel like as time goes on, I can take those premiums and make them more than that. And so with that being said, I would rather it not hit 23.5, but if it did, no big deal. And yeah, so that's the first option that I'm doing. I'm doing a Vecto IQ $20 put right now, and it does say $25, but that is just for the day. I am down about $115 or so in that one, because Vecto IQ was coming down, and I anticipated it to go down a little bit further. than it did, and I thought that it was going to hit around the 20 mark before it started to meet some resistance and go back up, but it hit some resistance around 2075, and that's around when I bought my put option, and it did retrace a little bit, but I feel like that's totally normal. You know, whenever you study a lot of these drops and big drops, they like to fall in sets of two, meaning they're going to come down, retrace, and come back down again. That's super common, and so I do believe that's what Vector IQ is doing. I definitely do believe I'll break even at minimum, even make some profit here. It's just about being patient. You know, whenever you see your option go to, you know, saying you're down $250 one day, it's very tempting to be like, well, I don't want to lose anymore, so I'm just going to sell out. But it's all about being patient and understanding that likely if your research and your logic is correct, that you just need to wait. And, you know, that's been a problem I faced in the past, is that I've noticed I'll make a decision to sell, and then I'll go back and look and be like, dang, had I just not sold yet, I would have made money. And that's not a mistake that I want to make again. And so with that being said, I am going to hold on to this one. I do believe I'm correct that it'll reach around $20. And yeah, so we will see what happens with that. So those are my two options that I have going on. I do a Bank of America covered call every week. And yeah, I've made, off covered calls, I'm at $90 in profit, which I've used to buy just more shares of other stocks, which is super nice to just get basically free money and free shares, free potential margin gains and stuff like that. So next up, my biggest holding in my account right now is Store Capital at 150 shares. I haven't really bought any of this since the last update, so I won't stay around it too much. Just simply for the fact that I'm comfortable at 200 or 150 shares. And I don't really feel like I need to get too many more right now, simply for the fact that, you know, it's super important to make sure that I'm diversifying my portfolio, as all the gurus like to say. That's just I feel like that's just the most overused phrase I've ever heard in my life. But, you know, it's actually very true. You know, it's not a diss towards them. It's actually very true. You want to make sure you have, you know, different stocks in different sectors and different aspects of life, simply for the fact that you never really know what's going to happen. And so it's just a smart play to make sure you have a piece of money everywhere rather than all your eggs in one basket. And so, yeah, I just didn't want to make sure, I just wanted to make sure I didn't overbuy Store Capital and put too much money in to one stock and say they go down, and that's a big percentage of my overall investment money. And so that wouldn't be good. So I am sitting at a total return of $299.73, really close to that $300 mark. And that's honestly off a very small increase. They've only gone up $2 a share, and I'm already sitting at about $300 worth of profit. And if we take a look at the 5-year, there's still a lot of room to grow. And that's very exciting to me, because if I'm making $300 off this, that is going to be ridiculous. So very excited for the future, very excited to see that growth and, you know, that profit there. But we will go into the next one, Bank of America. Again, I haven't bought any more of this. You know, I've just been sitting on covered calls doing Bank of America. It's one that I'm really using to make money. And it's in the middle of a long-term investment and a day trading or a trading stock. You know, I'm using it more right now for my covered calls to generate more revenue and generate more capital, and use that capital to buy more stocks. And so, you know, it's just kind of weird. But I am definitely going to try to hold on to it as long as possible. I'm trying to set my premiums and my strike prices not too far away to where I'm only making like $1, but also not so close that it's almost guaranteed going to sell, because I don't want to have to continue to get higher average costs, because that's kind of defeating the purpose. So yeah, Bank of America is my second biggest holding at $2,300. And Main Capital is actually booming right now. Super duper happy about this stock. It's doing super well. Like you can see here, I'll pull up this 5-year plan. It's recovered a lot of ground very fast. I mean, this is today, right there, around there. It's not letting me do it, but okay, whatever. So this little thing was over the course of like the last 2 weeks, and it's been absolutely insane. My average cost is $22.92, and it's grown all the way to $30.09 over the course of like a month and a half. That's crazy. I made a profit of $437 total off of these 61 shares. And honestly, I wish I would have had a little bit more, maybe 100 shares. But, you know, I don't like to think about it like that, simply for the fact that I couldn't have known it was going to rise that fast, one. And two, I was making sure I didn't overbuy one single stock. And so with that being said, I don't have that much regret. Uh, but yeah, so Main Street Capital is another big holding of mine. It's in at $437 in profit. And yeah, I'm at 61 shares. Next up, CocaCola, another big one, pretty self-explanatory one. CocaCola, I believe, is going to be around forever. It's established itself as such a very strong company and a very strong stock to have in the long run, and I don't think that changes anytime soon. I'm going to continue to buy more and more shares. My next goal is 100 shares of Coca-Cola, which I do believe I'll have, but by the end of the summer, I think come August or so, I'll have 100 shares of Coca-Cola and 100 shares of Main Street Capital. Those are my two next goals for those, if you were curious. And yeah, we'll take a quick look. I think I'm barely in profit for Coca-Cola because it did have a bit of a not the best little run recently. Yeah, it did recover a lot of ground here, but it had a nice little drop off from up here. I definitely thought it might have been just shooting out and making a huge comeback, but of course it did retrace a little bit, which is still, like I said earlier, super normal for stuff to retrace. And so yeah, my average cost is sitting at $45.55. It's at $45.90 now, so you can see that's a small profit of $8.73 and returns, but every dollar counts, and I do believe that over time this is going to continue to rise and just completely surpass that in a few years. In my opinion, I think it's going to continue to go up, continue to expand and advance and do amazing things, and I couldn't be more happy with my holdings in Coca-Cola. Next up, we got Microsoft. As you guys did know, I don't know if you watched this video, but I had a video recently saying I sold my favorite stock, and I did sell 5 shares of Microsoft. Just in short, I explained it fully in that video, but I just wanted to really use the money that I had invested into Microsoft to put it into companies that can generate me higher returns during this time. And I feel like it's super important to take advantage of what we have going on right now, and I felt like I wasn't using my money as effectively as possible by investing in Microsoft right now, especially considering their stock is the same price as it really was before this. And so with that being said, I figured it would be better off to take a little step back, put that money towards stocks like these that have high growth margins, and slowly invest more into Microsoft as time goes on. So my Microsoft holding has dropped a lot since the last update, but at the same time, it's for in my opinion, a greater cause. Triple N, National Retail Properties. one that I've just been going absolutely ham on. One that it took me a lot of thought and a lot of processing to decide whether I really wanted to do it or not. But as time has gone on, with 5G coming up soon here, with iPhone releasing their new phones, with Verizon doing big things as well, and if Verizon does something big, it helps the whole sector. And so, with that being said, I have gone in and bought 43 shares of AT&T since the very last update. It's not been the prettiest, honestly, but I do believe that this is because the whole market for them really hasn't had anything major recently. But I do believe 5G is going to be that next big thing that shoots this market up high. And so with that being said, I wanted to be a part of that. Obviously, everyone who's big into dividend investing knows the dividend yield is absolutely amazing. Price to earnings isn't that bad at all. And so with that being said, I figured it would be a very worthy investment for the long run, especially with collecting those dividends and taking part in that growth from 5G. I've just been saying it for a couple months now, but I really do believe that 5G is going to shoot the value of AT&T and all of Verizon and all those different stocks super high up, and it'll be here to stay. So AT&T's been a very, very big change that's happened in my portfolio recently. And we're coming up on the end here, only a few more stocks. Waste management is another one. I haven't done any investing in it since the last update. It just really wasn't at my average cost that I wanted it to be at. I wanted to get it a little bit low at 97, and I did miss that window. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like the right time to buy in. I felt like the two shares I have will generate their own little profits. And honestly, waste management isn't one that I'm very in a rush to buy a lot of shares in. I do think it'll do well over time, so I'm going to slowly invest money into it, but I think my money can do better in other places. So with that being said, I haven't really bought much more of waste management at all. Coming up on Atmos Energy, another one that I really just haven't felt the very strong urge to buy a lot of. My average cost is at $100.22. It is a little bit under that, so maybe I will buy a little bit more of it this week. Not 100% sure. It's been doing pretty well, but as you can tell here, it's just not as much effectiveness and there's not as much room for growth and the bounce back from everything that's happening. And I feel like my money being in those places where there's a lot more potential is just a smarter idea right now. I'm only 18, and so with that being said, it's not like I have unlimited capital. I just have to make the smarter decisions on what all is gonna bring me back the highest return. And so, yeah, I'm down $1.61. I'm honestly not stressed. I do believe that this growth here, after it's going to bounce off this and go straight up. And so with that being said, I'm not that worried about it at all. Coming up on the last two here, Walmart is another one that I'm just going to buy a little bit of here and there, kind of for the same reasons as the last one. My average cost is $121.48. It has gone up to $125.45. So that's a $3.97 return. The dividend payout on Walmart's not the best, and so that does make me a little bit hesitant to buy a lot more. I do think in the long term, it'll be a good stock to hold on to. But when it comes to it holding a huge place in my portfolio, I don't think it makes that much sense. And so that's why I haven't really done much more with that. And AQST, AQST is one that I'm kind of going for. AQST is actually going to either get approved or disapproved by, I think it's like the FDA. And so it's one that I've just been hearing there's a potential that if they do get approved, it's going to shoot. And it might not shoot that high. It might go up to like $7 or so. But, I like my small profits here and there. My average cost is $6.30, which is somewhere pretty close. I don't remember. It's somewhere there. It's honestly one that I'm not really stressed out about as much. I put $25 into. And I will say this is kind of one of the ones where I'm kind of going into it a little bit blind. I haven't done much studying on it, but I do know tomorrow can be either a really good or really bad day for them. And I like to take my risk here and there. I like to have some fun with it. I feel like even with the market, and yeah, it is money, and people might look at me like I'm crazy, but it's fine. I like to have a little risk in it, a little adrenaline here and there. And it's fun to put money, 3 or 4 shares into a stock like this one, and just low-key hope that it shoots up tomorrow. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, I can't be that mad. That's money that I'm not going to be too mad if I lose. Like, obviously, I don't like losing money, but I'm not I don't know. I just like to have fun. I like to do little things here and there like this that just make it a little bit more interesting. Could be a little bit interesting to you guys to see me just do dumb shit low key like this. And, you know what I mean? But I definitely don't do stuff like this often. I do this like 2 or 3 times a year where I just put random money in and I can just hope for the best. I'd like to be calculated in and out, but sometimes it's just fun to just go for it, right? And yes, so with that being said, that is my entire portfolio. I haven't done the math yet for the video, but I do think I'm sitting over $14,000 in total investment. And it's been a really fun journey so far. Like I've learned so much especially over the course of the last 2 months, roughly. Like since the whole pandemic started, I've really had nothing else to do but learn. And so with that being said, it's enabled me to really expand my horizons and understandings on different aspects of this market and different aspects of YouTube and understanding how a lot of this stuff works. And I'm very excited for the future. I'm really grateful for the fact that people like you guys who are watching and other creators out there kind of started this trend of just documenting what all they've been doing in the market, because I never would have. But it's so fun for me even now to go back to a month ago and see when about 2 months ago, when all this pandemic started, and kind of just watch to see the progress I've been making and watching myself learn those lessons. And I know that doing that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 15, 20, it's going to be one of the most awesome things. I can show other people, and I can just bring you guys with me on my journey through the stock market. It's definitely something that I wish more people would do, and because I love watching people just slowly grow these portfolios and make these decisions and learn these lessons. That's something I love watching, and so I also love creating. If you guys did like this video, like I said, please drop a like, drop some comments and some feedback down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Peace.